And we are live again. It's so awesome to be back. It is a new day. It is a new world. It is day 27. What a time to be alive. What a wonderful journey it has been from day one. I am over the rooftop, excited, for the things that we've heard from God, the things that have been shared on this platform, the testimonies that we've received, you know, you for all your comments, for joining, for keeping up, for those who have caught replay from different parts of the world. God bless you. God bless you. For those who have shared the links, persistently sharing the links on their status, their social media spaces, irrespective of whether people are responding yet, because they eventually will respond. This will get round and people will be blessed, and they would have been blessed through you. They would have been blessed through you. Give me a minute. So, today is pretty critical because today touch on something that something that cuts across the whole world, right? Something that cuts across the countries of the world, the continents of the world, something that cuts across um, everyone's life. Like no one can avoid what we're talking about today. No one can say, "Oh, I'm good, I'm fine. Nothing is really going on with me. I'm doing very fine. I'm moving forward." Right? When it comes to what we're talking about today, a good number of people are not prepared for change. They are not prepared for change. And change has come upon us. Change has come upon us. The Bible text that we'll be looking at is a very sad one for me. Oh. I don't know how other people see it, but I'll tell you how sad it is for me, even though it was within the plan of God. And that's one of the things that reassures me that irrespective of the change that is going on now, God has a great plan. God has awesome plan. Let's read it in the book of Exodus chapter 1. I hope the basketballs and the pressure that was applied yesterday is not making anybody lose their breath. If you have not seen yesterday, day 26, you had better go look at it. You had better go check it out because it was back to back truth that needs to be shared with men. So go look at it, go get it, and I'm sure that it will bless you. Anyways, let's go to the matter for today. Exodus chapter 1. Our text is really verse 8, but I want to read very briefly. So it's talked about the generations from verse 1 to 4. And then verse 5 now said this. It said, and all the souls, and all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls. For Joseph was in Egypt already. So Joseph would have been the 70. Joseph had two sons himself. So he probably would have been like 70. So the third or 74th with his wife. So he said, verse 6 said, and Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all that generation. And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them. So things will move on. Things had moved on. I mean, I don't know if there's anybody I'm speaking to right now that saw 1900, 1900. I don't know. I'm not sure. But if it is, I salute you. I respect you. I'd love to hear from you, Maosa, because it is most unlikely. So if there's anybody like that, person deserves to be honored. I would like to hear some things personally from you about what had happened that period. I mean, if you move down, you see 1920, 1940, 1960, there are a good number of people that were around then that had gone. Good number are very old right now, about to leave. Basically, the world has changed, the world has moved. Time has moved. Time has kept moving. Time will keep moving. It is still moving upon us now. There was a time when some of us were young, and playful and all over the place. But now we can't try that again because bills are upon us. Yeah, for those who cry about bills all the time, right? Bills are upon everybody, right? Anyways, what am I saying is that these people lived and moved on. Another set of people came and they were doing fine. It's not as if things slowed down, it's not as if anything happened. They were multiplying, they were doing fine, they were moving forward, everything was good. What they knew was what they knew. They didn't need to compare with anything, they were fine. But the Bible says in verse 8, it says, and there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. There arose a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. See this thing, eh? I can't exhaust what has to be said about it. I honestly can't exhaust it. I wish I could, but I just can't. What am I saying? Why am I saying that I can't exhaust it? The kind of life that the children of Jacob, the descendants of Jacob, had in Egypt when Joseph was around, the kind of largesse that they had, the kind of special treatment that they had, the kind of life they were living, the kind of favoritism they had, how their name was included in the constitution, how they were given special treatment. Just like in North America, they would treat some people specially, and call them the Inuit and co, the people that were natives. They had those kind of special preferential treatment then. But then the Bible says Joseph died. Jacob went, Joseph went, all the brothers of Joseph also went. And then that became the beginning of the end. After that verse 8, you see what was said there. You see, after that verse 8, it was said that, and this new king that arose, because the call for today is for men to rise. Because if you do not rise, some kings are rising. Some kings are rising up, and they are changing a lot. They are changing a lot. They are changing the world from the things that we're supposed to enjoy to what we can never smell. A lot is going on. A lot is changing. So excuse me about that. A lot is changing. He said that this king said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come, let us deal wisely with them. Let's outsmart them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when they fall out, then there fall out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. He doesn't want them to be released. He wanted to now hold them bondage. So he now start bringing up. He put together a particular group and said, "Oh, let's do some brainstorming. Let's do strategy session consistently. Let's design what can we do to hold these people captive so that they won't escape." That was what he said there. So that they won't leave and escape. So that they don't leave and escape. And he said, therefore, they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Phaethon and Ramesses. I don't want to read on because the more I read, the more sad I become. But the good part is that it was in designs of God. But there are no people like Moses, there are no people like Moses' mother, Moses' sister, that are there to make sure that destiny is grown, destiny is kept, vision is kept, agenda of God is secured, then these people would have been in bondage for life. So some people had to be strategic, and this is a call for men to get up and be strategic, to get up and be strategic, to get up and be aware of what's going on around us, because largely a good amount of men are not aware. Why? Because we're either clueless and lazy, or we're so busy trying to fend for ourselves that we don't even get an awareness of what's going on around. I'm going to share a few things that I dug up on the new world, because currently, right, there is the new world. There's a way marriage used to be, and there's a way marriage is right now. There's a way wars used to be fought, there's a way they are being fought right now. There's a way information used to pass, there's a way information is being passed right now. There's a way children are being raised, there's a way they are being raised right now. So agenda is upon us, all over us. Kings have risen up and are setting agendas, there are certain structures and places that is going to go against God's will for you, God's will for your marriage, God's will for your children. But a good number of men are not aware to this. We're just there. We're just there about our business. We're just about our business. I want to read out some changes that had happened to us. I believe that they're going to bless us. The first change that I found out, and this was from Pew Research, is marriage rate. So marriage rate in the mid 90s, sorry, mid 19th century, 19th century, is that there were much higher marriage prevalence in those period. That period, you see 70% of adults are married. 70 to 72% are married that period in the 1950s and co. But today, you only see 50% of adults married. And even that 50%, you and I know, a huge percentage are having issues. Another one is age of first marriage. Age at first marriage. So in 1950s, men were of age like 22.8 in the average, while women were of age like 20.3 in average. But do you know what the average is now? In 2024, 2025, the average age of men that get married is 30. And the average age of women that get married is 28 to 29. This was from US Census or CDC, and also Pew Research said something about it. And if you don't know the implication of that, I'd better let you know. It means that more and more people are getting married in their old age, because that's already like old. A good number of women at that age are already getting close to their menopause period. They are not enjoying their youthful age together in marriage. What that also means that a good number of people are wasting away in their late teen age and their late 20s, because their late teenage and their late 20s, what they are doing is just going all over the place sowing seeds, sowing wild seeds all over the place. Oh, I want to enjoy myself before I get married. I don't want to tie myself down. Let me show you about divorce rate. Divorce rate in the 1950s was much lower at 2.0 per 1,000. Meanwhile, now we have the recorded divorce. There are a good number of divorces that are not finalized. Some they didn't move ahead, they just separated. Some they are even in the same house, but they just told themselves, I'm not in this with you, I'm just here for the children. But now it is 2.2% in 1,000. Another thing that has changed is children born to marriages versus unmarried parents. In 1960s, 90% of births were within marriage, but now only 40% of births, sorry, only 60% are within marriage, 40% are outside marriage. Some are even within marriage, and before they realize they were outside, they thought they were inside, then they realized, I'm outside now. Cohabitation, this one is the one that is wrecking the youth. Cohabitation before marriage in the 1960s was very rare, at like a 5% or less. But now, majority of couples cohabit before marriage. Some cohabit to the point where they say, you know what, I don't think we can really work. I think we should end this and move on with our lives. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. That's what we're facing right now. That's what we're facing right now. Household structure is another thing. In US Census Family Structure Report, you see that household structure in 1960s and thereabout, 85% plus children lived with two married parents. But today, only 65 to 70%, which vary also in depending on the data set you are looking at, are living with parents. And a good chunk are also living with single parents. Some will live with one parent for 1 week, live with another parent for another week. Changing the structure that God has set in place. Or should I talk about single parent household? Single parent household was just like 9% in the mid 90s, 19th century. But now, today, we have almost 25% plus that are single parent households, raising up half children or half baked children. Should I go on? Should I go on? Should I talk about religious attendance? That's even worse. Religious attendance then, weekly attendance was like 70 to 80%. This is US estimation. Today, it's just like 20 to 30% weekly attendance. Even in the part of the world, the continent of the world, where you have a good number of people going to church, a good number are going to church because of what they're going to get. Things are happening. Things are happening around us that we are not conscious of. Things are happening around us that we are not conscious of. I'm going to end with an agenda that was pushed in that period and that is really, really hitting deep into the society right now. But what am I trying to tell you? A lot has changed, a lot has improved. Yes, there have been buildings. Dubai was a desert, now is a beautiful place, beautiful city. There have been structures erected, there have been new schools, new models, internet had come, AI had come, and all that. But at the same time, as these things are coming out, as these things seem to be improving the world, there's also something that is lacing them, something in between the lines that we're not looking at. There is messing up the structure that God has set on ground. And if you are not awake as a man to your duty to uphold what God has set on ground, there will be problem. There are things happening in the schools for the children. But we're being lackadaisical about it, like, oh, let school just run the school. What are you doing about it? What decision are you making about your children? What decision are you making about your marriage? What decision are you making about yourself to make sure that God's agenda, God's plan is not terminated, is not tarnished, is not diluted, is not wasted and removed? Because this is happening every day. And we are fine with it. As much as I make my money, I'm fine with it. God is going to ask us questions. God is trusting us to be the ones to sustain what needs to be sustained. And if every man, and this is why I'm here, if every man can sustain this in their homes and in their spaces, when I say spaces, the people that are in your spot, your spheres of influence, if every man is doing this, the will of God will be sustained. The design of God will be sustained. So God is entrusting all of us to make sure that his design is sustained. What part are you playing in your own home? Is your home that home where nobody's talking about family devotion again? Your children have gone to the point now that they've naturalized and normalized it, that, oh, we don't read Bible in our house. It doesn't really matter. Daddy said it doesn't matter. Daddy said everybody just needs to go to school and go to work and live our life. Yes, you are raising people who have lost the identity of God. That's what you are doing. That's what you are doing. What are you using to make decisions in your house? Is your house a house where the children are the one ordering you around, or deciding for you, or telling you what they want? Or you are being the parent that you should be, training them up in the ways of the Lord? When we parents even hear about training up a child in the way of the Lord, oftentimes what we think is holding some sort of rod or some sort of belt and making sure they do what it is that we say. Do you know training is majorly also seeing? What are you putting in their face? What are they seeing? In your relationship with your wife, in the way you are interacting as parents, as husband and wife, what are they seeing? because that's part of their training. In your own daily life, how you live your daily life, what are they seeing? In the projects that you are doing, in the things you are laying your hands on, in the things you are sustaining, in the traditions that you are making sure you abide by, what are they seeing? That's the training. That's the training. That's the training. They are seeing you every day. They are hearing what you are saying, and they are seeing that, oh God, my dad puts his work or his project or his profession or his job ahead of God. They are seeing it. That's the design they are seeing. They are seeing it. They are seeing, oh, my dad and my mom are watching movies of this and this. And they are normalizing it. That, oh, if my dad and mom can watch it, then that means it's normal. That means abortion is normal. That means same-sex parenting is normal. That means single parenting is normal. They are normalizing those things every day. They're normalizing it every day. They're seeing the way you are making money. They're seeing whether you are deciding whether to pay tithes or not. So they're telling themselves this thing doesn't really matter. Even if daddy and mommy say that it matters, they are not doing it, so it cannot really matter. I mean, nothing will happen to them. They are fine. There's sickness in your home. They are seeing the way you're approaching. The moment there's sickness like this, you've bombarded it with all sorts of tablets and medication. They've seen that your trust is in that thing. It's not in God. They are seeing it. They are absorbing it. You are not prepared for change, and change has come upon us, but you are not prepared for change. We are sleeping. We are sleeping, and change has happened. Change is happening. It's happening seriously. There's one that breaks my heart, and that is this popularly known Alice Bailey agenda. Yes, even though it has been talked about that, oh yeah, some people bastardize, that's not really what she wrote in her book, that's not what she mean. But if I read some of those things that have been kind of adapted from her book, you would understand that it's happening now in the world around us. How aware are you to these things? How aware are you to this? What have you told your children about AI? You, even what do you know about AI? What have you told your children about Western world? A good number of people traveling from Asia, traveling from Africa, going to North America, going to Europe. What have you learned about the cultures in those places? What have you mastered about the culture and where you're coming from? What are you sustaining? How are you sustaining what God has put in our hands through the people that have come before us? How are those things changing? How are those things changing? Is there even still a physical Bible in your house? Is there a physical Bible in your house? Or everything is now phone? Then when the phone is spoiled or it's out, no Bible again. What songs are playing in your house? What songs are celebrated in your house? What song do you permit? What attitude do you permit? What habit do you permit? What daily life do you permit in your house? What are you normalizing? Alice Bailey's agenda is called the New World Order. And this has been in effect since, oh, it's not recent. But see how far it has gone now. Just so that you know, I'll read out some of these things so that you see how far it has gone now. I'll read the 10 agenda. First one is take God and prayer out of the education system. Take God and prayer out of the education system. Is it happening now? Yes or no? You know the answer. Number two, reduce parental authority over children. See, the place where children spend most part of their life, because if you think about it very well, your children go to school maybe at 8:30, 9 a.m., they come back at 3 p.m. It just shows that out of their daylight, they wake up in the morning and they are going to bed at 6 p.m. or 8 p.m. Out of that daylight, they spend at least half of it, or in some cases more than half of it, in school. Now, in that school, you said take God out of it, take prayer out of it. Now, when they get home, where they might have now gotten some sort of direction, some sort of leading, some sort of guidance, you say reduce parental authority over the children. Let the children say, I do not want to do it. I want to do this. I try to encourage my children every day to have at least 30 minutes to spend with God. we call it alone time with God every day, so that whatever is happening in school, whatever is in the atmosphere of the school, whatever is coming from other children in school, doesn't have so much hook or hold on them. Instead, they have time with God. Put some things in their spirit, deposit some things in their spirit that can remove those impurities and help them to have a solid foundation for a great life. Say you should reduce parental authority. So your children dictate to you how they live their life, and you are good with it. Because they have their room, they can lock their door and do whatever they like. They have their gadgets, they can do whatever they like with their phone, and you allowed it. That's the second point on the agenda. Reduce parental authority over children. Third one, destroy the Judeo-Christian family structure. Destroy that family structure. Tell them that it's not supposed to be like that. Why should it be like that? You can live as a single mom. You can live as a single dad. No offense to people who are currently in situations where they have to live as single parents, but don't celebrate it. You should even pray that God should help you to have some sort of father figure or mother figure for your child. And you can find this in more elderly people. And that will help the child, because that child will know that, oh, my mom or my dad were in a situation, but they were wise enough to tell me that I needed this person in my life. So we got someone who was filling that gap in ways that they can achieve. Number 4, if sex is free, make abortion legal and easy. So you mess up the first end, you mess up the other end. It's a complete mess. It's a complete mess, because one thing that would have helped to control people's involvement or sexual activity in their youthful age is the fact that, oh, you could get pregnant and you'll be a young daddy, you'll be a young mommy. In fact, that was part of the data that I got out, that there was a lot of teenage marriage back then. Because the moment you frolic around, the moment you start experiencing what you're not supposed to experience in your youthful age, you get pregnant, you both of you must get married. But now it's not like that again. They've been given all sorts of tools to boycott it. So it makes it a crazier mess. Make sex free and make abortion legal and easy. Number 5, make divorce easy and common. Divorce is so common nowadays that it crawls my skin. We need to get to the point where we start forming marriages or having marriages where we have like an agreement, a capital agreement that divorce must not be mentioned. Yes, many other things should not be mentioned, right? Abuse must not be mentioned. Not listening to each other must not be mentioned. Infidelity must not be mentioned. Lying must not be mentioned. Unfaithfulness must not be mentioned. All those things must not be mentioned. But inclusively must be that divorce must not be mentioned. When we have an issue, we solve the issue. We find a solution to it. But that's not happening again. That's not happening again. Let me read through the rest. Number 6 says, emphasize emotional, sexual, and social entitlement. So we have entitled people all over the place. Entitled wife, entitled husband. Nobody's selfless. Nobody is ready to listen to anybody or respect anybody again. Number 7, deny the validity of the Bible and absolute truth. You don't even have physical Bible in your house. If I ask you now, okay, that's the exercise for today. Where are the physical Bibles in your home? Snap the physical Bibles in your home and tag singles and spouses. Let's even see it. Where are the physical Bibles in your home? Do you have them? Do you have physical Bibles like this? Like this? Can you boast of it? That, oh, we have physical Bibles like this. We have physical Bible in my house that we use. Not that they are dusty. There's a song like that my kids really love. I love that song too. Dusty Bibles. That's even the song that I should sing with this one. Maybe I'll sing it tomorrow. But what am I saying is that you need to be awake to these things. He said, encourage more influence. This is number 8. Encourage more influence and moral. Encourage more media influence and moral relativism. It's happening with cartoons. It's happening with movies. And we're absorbing it. We're taking it. We're not reacting to it. There was a time my wife was telling me that, baby, We go on Netflix, we need to be careful the kind of movie we watch. We need to even check who made this movie, who produced the movie, who are the producer, who are the people that sat on it, who wrote it. Because all sorts is all over the place. And they're so beautiful that you just consume and put more money in their pocket. They are funding the devil. They're funding anti-God. Number 9, it says promote secular humanism and global citizenship over national identity. How are you upholding the identity that God has given you? The number 10 is establish a new age worldview replacing traditional religion. See, if you are a man and the only thing that you're about is what I'm going to make, how I'm going to set up myself, how I'm going to be fine, and you are not aware of what is happening in the world, how things are changing, and how these dynamics are affecting the family system, the marriage system, the parenting system, and the children's growth, then this is for you. You need to sit down and think. Sit down and think. Whatever space you are, whatever continent you are, whatever country or industry you are, sit down and think about it. And what am I doing right as concerns sustaining the identity, the pattern that God has set down for marriage, that God has set down for training the children, that God has set down for living the life of a man. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. Ask yourself. Side chick has become a thing. Everybody is now boasting about it. Oh, I have this, I have that. In fact, some women are getting to the point where they are the ones encouraging their husband to go out. That, oh, in as much as you are doing it outside, don't bring it home. I'm fine. What's going on? What's happening to us? If you are not prepared for the change will sweep you away. And not just sweep you away, sweep the children and children's children away. I would have disappointed God. Let's rise up. Because if we do not rise up, several structures are rising up, several systems are rising up, several new things are coming up and showing up that are messing up the world, the beautiful world that God has blessed us with. I don't have other ways I could share this, but I'm hoping that God would help you to be able to understand the way I do and see all these new things that have happened, things that have changed over the time, as things we need to be very careful to look at to make sure that they are not depleting and eroding the structures and the values that God has put in place around family system, around marriage, and around parenting, around our lives as men. I'm praying that men will hear this and this will wake you up, to be a wake-up call for you to look around you rather than just take everything as face value, to challenge and question changes, and to make sure you sustain traditions, sustain things that need to sustain in your family, in your own, your marriage, with your children, so that God can be proud of us. God can say about us, just like he said of Abraham, that I know Abraham, he will instruct his family. God has given us instructional order as men, and I'm praying that you will not throw away that instructional order. You will maintain your guard. You will stand your position. You will guard that home with all you can to preserve God's values in it, and we will run a beautiful world together. Thank you so much for joining us for today, day 27. We're happy to have you. Please share with friends, share with family, and see you tomorrow. God bless you. Bye bye.